Thanks for tuning in to Chats with Your Self-Worth BFF. This is your host, Mikaela Filar, where we are here to skyrocket your self-worth, heal your shit, and take your power back. Welcome to the chat. Hey guys, welcome back to Chats with Your Self-Worth BFF. It's your host, Mikaela Filar, here with our special guest today, Katherine. So excited to have you on. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, so Katherine is a mentorship student of mine, and she also lives here. Well, she actually lives in LA now, but she was living in Costa Mesa, and we met at the gym. So, fellow gym girly, and then started following each other on Instagram, and then we started working together. And it has just been such a pleasure to see her blossom and transform over the last, I don't know, I think we've known each other for like what, 6 months now?
Yeah, it hasn't even been that long.
Hasn't
It
been.
feels longer.
Yeah, no, I love it. So, but yeah, so we worked together for like, I don't know, 3 months, I think, in mentorship.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 3 months in mentorship, put a pause, but we're getting started again. So super excited to begin working with her again, coming up in February. But I wanted to have her on to just give you guys another insight on, her takeaways from mentorship so far, what she's learned, how she liked it, if she has anything that she wants to share with you guys about mentorship. Maybe if you're like been thinking about joining mentorship or thinking about working with me in some capacity. So, really excited about all of this, excited to see what unfolds in this episode. And Katherine, I will let you introduce yourself or say anything you want to say to the pod.
Hey. Hi, so I'm Katherine. Yeah, like Mikaela said, we met at the gym. It's kind of where I live. I'm 24, and Mikaela has just helped me in these years. I feel like your young 20s are such an interesting time of transformation, and honestly, the amount of transformation I've been able to accomplish with her is insane. So I'm excited to tell you guys about everything that we've done together because I am practically a different person than when we first met. So
Aww, I love that. And obviously, I only have one microphone. I will invest in a second one if I plan on having more guests. I really do love the idea of having doing in person podcast episodes. It's fun.
Connection.
We're in my backyard right now because the inside of my house, I'm actually in the middle of moving and there's nothing on the walls. And so I was like, let's go outside. It's actually a beautiful day here, and
80.
it's 80 degrees.
Yeah.
It's winter who? Okay. Anyways, I have some questions for Katherine to kind of keep us on track because her and I we do this thing where we start talking and then they're like, okay, how did we get here? And then we just go on tangents and it's hilarious.
So many of them.
So here we are getting into our questions. Number one being, what was the reason you joined mentorship with me?
So I would say the first thing that started my desire to do mentorship with you was just the initial introduction with you in the gym. You were so welcoming and like positive, and I feel like that's sometimes hard to find in a gym, especially between women. Like you never know if you want to go up to someone and befriend them. So that was definitely part of it. And then after that first reading we did and you mentioned mentorship, I was like, yeah, because I was so confused at the time when I met Mikaela. I wasn't sure what to do with my career, and I'm a coach as well. So I was like unsure of all of that, and I was struggling with my self worth, and that was hindering my ability to be a better coach. And honestly, everything Mikaela was doing with her podcast and her social media and just how she spoke to me in our first initial reading and then mentioned mentorship, I was like, why wouldn't I do this? Like, this is such a good investment. So that's definitely why I chose to do it.
I love that. A little bit more background on exactly how we met in the gym is I saw her, like she said, she's a coach. So if anything like fitness related, she does like mindset and fitness coaching. But the way she does it is so awesome because she is using like mindset work, because mindset around fitness I feel like is something that isn't talked about enough. And a lot of times you see influencers that are just showing you like these different workouts and stuff to do, which is great, but tying in that like mindset aspect of it too is such a life changer. And also, as we know, there's an airplane coming up. Sorry. I live near an airport, but as we know, when you start to transform the way that you think, your outside like physical reality also changes. So it's such an important tie-in to what she does as a coach. So anything like mindset, fitness, and she also is learning in like getting into human design too, which is something that I've talked about on this podcast. So keep an eye out for that. But I will link her information to like follow her and stuff in the show notes below. So if you're interested in anything that I just mentioned, give her a follow. But she was filming her hip thrusts and she was like placing her. I think you forgot your tripod that day.
I didn't have my
Yeah.
tripod that day.
And she was like putting it up against like her water bottle
on this.
on her giant Stanley cup. And and I was like, she looks like that I could help her with that. So then I did, and then we was just like game over from there. I was like, I'm gonna be her friend, and then here we are.
That is exactly how it happened. You're like, we're friends now.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Let's be Instagram friends and then real life friends, and now here we are.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, awesome. So number 2, what was one specific thing that you got out of mentorship that was your favorite?
I would say my favorite thing was having a consistent check in with someone I could trust. And I had a hard time thinking about what I was gonna say for this one because I was like, do I want to say something that was like a tangible like thing? But I actually my favorite part of mentorship was just being able to talk to you and like having someone who genuinely listened and wanted what was best for me. And it wasn't anything like you weren't getting anything out of like my result. You were just like here for me to achieve what was best for me. And I felt that. And I looked forward to that because it was just something consistent in my life. No matter the type of week I had, whether it was really good or really bad, you were there no matter what. And you just wanted to help me in any capacity that you could in a given time. Like I remember there was sessions when I'd come in and I'd be like, I don't even want to do this right now. And you were like, well, we are. I was like, okay. So I feel like that was my favorite thing. You always kept me accountable and consistent with my healing and just making sure that I didn't get stuck in my vortex that sucks me down because that happens sometimes and you didn't want that to happen. I felt that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the second time this week that one of my clients has said that just holding that safe space for them was really a huge takeaway. And I feel that on a personal level because like I've mentioned before in previous episodes, been through so many different therapists. Not saying that I'm a therapist, but also in some capacity I kind of am, but just like better.
It gives therapy.
Yeah. But yeah, it definitely gives therapy. Love that. But and it's hard to like find a therapist or find somebody that you can like talk to that one isn't going to like that isn't there just to like okay, we're going to get through your hour and like it's done, but like also like you have text access to me, so like even on the days where you like got stuck or you wanted me to like look over something and meant like I was there for you. And like mentorship also looks so different for everyone. Like yes, my niche is self-worth and self-love because the keys to literally everything in life is having a 10 out of 10 self-image and self-love. And a lot of our like quote unquote problems that we think that we have stem from like are rooted in an ability to see and know our worth and know that we are capable of whatever it is that we are desiring to create in this life. So but like holding a safe space for somebody and like being able to have that for them to talk to me about literally like anything that is on their mind is so important. And especially for me, like I genuinely care about my clients. And so yeah, that's like it means so much for me to hear from you. I love you for that. And I was gonna say something else, but totally having a moment. So we'll get to the next question. And another airplane. This is going to be a thing. Hopefully, I can mute them out in some way. But if not, we're just going on with it. So number three. Ooh, so we're kind of talking about talk therapy. How was mentorship with me as opposed to talk therapy?
In short, it was so much better. I've been in and out of talk therapy since I was 8 years old for a variety of reasons. It like started just because my teachers in school were concerned that I took everything too literally. Like literally like math problems and stuff, like the ones where it's like split a cookie with this person. And I'd be like, but that doesn't make sense. Like, why wouldn't you just get more? Like they were concerned. So
Yeah,
I like thought like that because I was just like, we could just get enough for everyone. And they were like, no.
that's
And I
not
was
the
like, why not?
problem.
Yeah. So it wasn't a humanity problem. It was just a math problem.
Oh God.
Um, so it started there and then like, teenage stuff. So I stayed in therapy and you go to therapy and you don't want to be there because you're a teenager and you think it's stupid. And in college, kind of the same thing, like just doing it because I was like, oh, it's something you should do. And for certain people, I think it is great, but there's also a level of like spirituality that comes with having you are more spiritual than your therapist. And if you have that understanding, a regular talk therapy therapist would not understand like where you're coming from. I felt like sometimes I was bringing up topics and ways of viewing things that my therapist would never understand.
Mhm.
And I think for anyone probably listening to this podcast would benefit more from having a coach or an intuitive coach and leader guide because you are able to delve deeper into things that aren't just like scientific. Like you're beyond science, you're in your body. And I think that, again, anyone who's listening to this, you're all here doing the actual work. You're not just here to, again, like get something out of an hour that you paid for. Like, this is true one companionship, true genuine care. And I think the work and the tangible tips that you're taking out of these sessions means so much more than just your therapist being like, okay, like test your senses when you're having anxiety and like look at your surroundings and ground. And that works. It does. Like that is a good tip. But there's so much more to mentorship, like the meditations we would do in mentorship, the ones that you would give me to do outside of it, the journal prompts, the list making, like everything felt more genuine to who I am and what I needed rather than just what a therapist learned in school. And I think that is the big difference, is that Mikaela's not here to just tell everyone the same thing and just do the things that make you heal. Like she's here to give you what's best for you because she's channeling your higher self. So she's not just going to be like, well, this is what I did, so it's going to work for you. Like, no, she's giving you what your higher self's like, this girl needs to do this. Like, this is what she needs to do. And that's the difference. Like, I saw more change in 3 months than I did in, how old am I? Like 16 years of therapy. Like, you know?
Yeah, no, totally, totally. I completely relate, and I felt the same when I first learned about intuitive, energetic healing. Like, this isn't just going to a therapy session and talking about your trauma or talking about your problems. It's actually like getting to the root cause of your trauma, where it started, and then like being able to pull it out from under the ground because you're getting to the root cause. What talk therapy did is, it's because it all stems from something like your not feeling worthy or your self love or self image wound. It stems from like one incident that's happened in your past. And a lot of times we forget about that one incident, which leaves us like not getting to the root cause of whatever it is that we're trying to improve. And instead, it gets you hyper fixated on like all of the branches that are coming off of the tree that planted years and years and years ago. And so what happens when you get to the root cause of your problem and you pull that out, then all of a sudden it's all healed and gone. And that's like because you're getting to the root cause of it. And the way that I channel that is specifically for each individual, for each client, channeling that straight from them, and they might not even see. Like, I can have clients go on and on and on for 20 minutes about a story that they're telling me, and I'm like, okay, but the root cause of this is that you are not seeing that you are enough, or the root cause of this is XYZ. And then they're like, yeah.
Like,
Like, you didn't even need to tell me that whole 20-minute story, because this is actually what you really are concerned about. Now let's get to the root cause of this limiting belief, and go from there.
Mhm. And all the stories that, like, I mean, I shared with you and everything, 20-minute stories that other clients have shared with you, they all share a common denominator. It's not that the root cause is that one incident, like you said, it's something deeper than that. So it's looking at the common factor there. Like, I remember when we did that one meditation, you're like, behind the three doors. I still haven't learned the one to this day, but the two stories that we did find, like, they shared a common denominator, and that's what we worked on. It wasn't changing the memory or changing what happened or telling yourself something different. It's changing the actual belief that goes along with that story. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And the three doors meditation that Catherine's referring to. So, something really amazing about channeling and about our higher self and about meditations and taking clients through these meditations is like our higher self is never going to share anything with us that we are not ready to take on or to heal. So, maybe in the, well, like for sure in the future of us working together, of Catherine and I working together, I'll be able to go through that meditation again and she will see something different, or maybe she will be able to get to the last door, right? But everyone goes at a different pace and it looks different for everyone, and that's why I have my clients on here and there to share their different individual experiences, because it is different for everyone. Um and your higher self isn't going to share anything with you that you are not like mentally or physically ready to take on and heal from. Or maybe there's a lesson behind this cycle that you are desiring to break that you haven't learned. And what does the universe do when you, higher self, universe, like, what do they do when you have a lesson that you need to learn? Like, they're not just going to give it to you on a silver platter. They're going to give you physical lessons and challenges for you to prove that you are healing from that limiting self belief. Like, for instance, to give you kind of more of a tangible example of this, would probably be, let's say you're asking for patience, or like like you're just a very impatient person and you're asking for patience. The universe isn't just gonna be like, okay, cool, you're patient now, and then you're like a patient queen, like or king. No, like it's going to physically give you opportunities in your life to for you to prove to yourself that you are patient. For example, like sitting in traffic. Like if you are impatient in that traffic situation, um, that's like an opportunity for you to practice your patience. So it's like it's going to give you opportunities to practice what you are declaring that you are wanting to master, right? All right, amazing. So, number 4. Oh, wait, no. Number 5. What would you say to somebody who has been watching what I do and is on the fence about working with me?
I would say just do it, because there is never going to be a better time to start your healing. And if you're feeling called in any way, if you have any urge, that is a sign that it's something that is meant for you, because there's a difference between fear and the fear of something that is exciting and good for you. So, fear of something that is like bad, no, is going to feel like a pit in your stomach, whereas something like fear that's exciting and something that is like going to push you further is going to feel more like butterflies. Like there's like energy behind it. It's like something that's like, okay, we're going, rather than like a sinking, gut wrenching, horrible, gross feeling. Like, and so if you're feeling any sort of like, oh, that's interesting, even just start with one session. Like, just do a session, because that's a great place to start. And like maybe you do a few sessions before you sign up for mentorship. It's not like you have to sign up for mentorship right away, but I think doing a session, starting to explore this route, is a great opportunity, because even if you can just take away one thing, that's going to change your life. And Mikaela is always going to be excited to help you, no matter what capacity that's in, whether it's listening to this podcast, doing a session, taking one of her courses, doing mentorship. And I just can't recommend mentorship enough, because you're only going to get even more from her amazing abilities. You're not just going to be getting one and done. You're going to be having it continuously, and you're just going to build your intuition. And that's something I struggled with in the beginning. I knew I had intuition. She knew I had it, and I was just failing to actually use it and trust it. And I think that's what I would say is just go for it in any capacity. Start with one session, see how it feels for you, and just if you have an urge to start your healing journey, like that's why would you waste like not waste time not doing it, but why would you postpone like your success? Like why would you postpone that chance for yourself to meet your highest potential? Like you're only doing yourself a disservice by not acting on that urge. It can't go wrong.
Mhm.
you know?
Yes, totally. And also, like, I love that she mentioned just starting off with one session too. Like, that's um totally an option before like just jumping into mentorship. Like, if you do book a session with me and then decide that you want to continue on with mentorship, I will put the cost of the session towards your mentorship, so you're not like double paying because that wouldn't be fair. Um, but and it'll just count as like your first session of the month. So that's definitely an option, an opportunity. And I also love that she brought up her intuition, because that was actually going to be my next question that I just thought of, was like, how has working with me like affected your ability to hone in on your intuition and to like trust it more, to trust yourself more when like making those big decisions or just making even the small decisions in your day-to-day life?
So you've definitely helped me actually feel it in my body more. I feel like I always tried to make decisions with my mind rather than how my body felt. And that goes against my human design in a big way as well. So not like intuitively you were helping me be more in tune with my human design.
Love
um
that.
but just from we would do small decisions first. You would ask me what like workout feels good today, what food feels good today, and just starting to notice things that are so little that you can make an intuitive choice with. She wasn't like, okay, so what's the next big move that you're going to do, and do something crazy like move again or something. Like she wasn't asking me anything crazy. Like it was just small little things that the more you practice, you get more in tune with your body. And I've been able to do that. It starts with, okay, do I actually want this for breakfast today? And like all those little choices bring you more into alignment. Like if you look at a plate of food and you're like, absolutely not, like I actually would rather go get something to eat. What if you met like the coolest person at that restaurant that you're craving, but instead you were like, I'm just going to eat it because it's here and it's practical, and then all of a sudden like you didn't meet that person. So like following your intuition brings you into alignment, and that is definitely something that I learned from you, and like starting to actually feel it in my body instead of just letting my mind change it for me.
Yes, I freaking love that. That is just so true. And I always said in the beginning of us working together, let like leave the big stuff up to me until you fully trust your intuition and yourself, because you like intuition, like I've said in the past, intuition is like a muscle and you have to grow it. Just like in the gym, you have to grow your muscles. You don't just go into the gym and lift a 50-pound dumbbell above your head like it's nothing. Like you have to work your way up to it. So it's the same thing with intuition, is you start small with like, should I turn left or right at this stop sign, or like, should I eat salmon for dinner, or is it better for me to eat steak? It's like the little things like that that you can kind of test and learn how to strengthen your intuition. But like learning how to trust yourself and feeling it in your body is so important. Like that's all like about learning how to regulate your central nervous system. It's like, how does X make me feel, as a like, how do I feel in my body right now? Because a lot of times we focus on like making decisions with our mind. Like we're like, what's logical, what's the most logical thing to do? And the thing about intuition is like it defies logic. Like it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like you're gonna get these intuitive pings, and you're going to learn how to trust them. And what happens, because we are not like grown up taught how to use our intuition, we're like, what, we're taught how to think logically and think what makes the most sense in our head as opposed to what feels right in our body, which is what I focus on, because that in my opinion, and so many other people's opinion, like that is what actually matters most. And that's how you learn how to regulate your central nervous system. Because sometimes you defy what's logical because you have to feel that feel what's right in your body for you. And that doesn't always make sense. So learning how to trust my intuition and then teaching others how to like hone in on their intuition is definitely like one of my favorite things to freaking do because the change that it can make in your life is intangible.
Mhm.
um yeah, so with all that being said, I mean, I can't, do you have any other questions that you think that would be good to share?
Um, I was gonna say, like, one of my favorite tangible tips that I took away from you was list making. I forgot to tell you that earlier. But like I make lists for everything now because
Like
it's like what you
what
design.
kind of list?
Here, right here.
Yeah, there you go.
Um, like what I desire in blank, what I desire in something else. One for me was times I can trust. Like that was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
And those lists just keep growing and you can make them private on your phone. And it's proving to the universe that you're recognizing small things in your life. And for the ones that it's like I desire blank in blank, or like I did like I desire in relationships because you
Mm-hmm.
told me to do that one. And
I'm like the queen of list
yes,
making. Like I will make you do, not make you, but like depending on what's best.
highly
And
suggest.
yeah, I will highly suggest it's honestly it's your higher self highly suggesting it. Because I'm channeling for each individual. But like if you're having a problem, like she was saying with trust, or if you're having like I've already talked about how I manifested my boyfriend. That was like I desire to the way I desire to feel in a romantic relationship, and then 125 things that I
Attributes.
desire, and also the 125 attributes
Yeah.
list. Like that's huge for your self image boosting and self love boosting. So,
And it's a written manifestation. Like you're show because for a lot of people vocalizing is a really good way to manifest into the universe, but writing things down, so like journaling, all that, just a simple list in your notes app, you're manifesting it into the world. Like whether you say it out loud or not, like the universe is going to see you putting in that work and like
mm-hmm,
acknowledging it and rereading it too. Like when you
mm-hmm.
forget is big, and I loved that, and that was a big thing I took away for sure.
I love that. I love that so much. And I love how also you mentioned like noticing where it shows up, even in the small, like day to day,
Mm-hmm.
because that's so important. Because a lot of times we don't focus on the small things that make honestly like the biggest impact. And when you add up all of these small things, as you know, like bigger things happen. So like for instance, okay, I'll give this is a list. This is a huge list that I do with myself, with all my clients. Like my intuitive healer gave this to me, and I've obviously like taught it and teach it to like all of my clients too, is money, right? Like um where am I abundant in my life? Like I'm abundant in air, I'm abundant in green grass, I'm abundant in clothes. Like I'm looking at this microphone costs $200. Like, like
You got
this
groceries this
I got
morning.
groceries this morning. I drove to the grocery store and I had gas in my car, and like we got coffee today, and like I have this Stanley cup, and like you know what I'm saying? Like it's like these little things that we realize and that we write down in our list, and then it's like proving to the universe like I am abundant. It's showing yourself and it's rewiring your subconscious mind that you are abundant in so many ways, and that way you're focused on abundant and all. Hey guys, okay, so we had some technical difficulties per usual, and the podcast decided to stop recording at the in the middle of my sentence. So I wanted to just finish off with a voice memo here for y'all so that you get the rest out of it. But basically, I was saying that when you focus on all of the abundance that's in your life, you will attract more abundance in your life, period. Whereas if you're focused on scarcity and lack, you're in what you can't afford and how things are so expensive and how you don't have XYZ, and you're focused so much on all the things that you don't have, you're going to attract more scarcity and lack in your life. So basically, what these little lists do, and these remembering, seeing the small things in your day to day life, they end up being really big things in manifesting more abundance in your life. So that is why these lists are so important. And I love doing them with my clients, with myself. I still use all of these tools in my day to day life as well, because the healing and the growing, it never ends, it never stops. Like, it's a continuous thing. But what's so beautiful about mentorship and about this is that you can take all of these tangible tools that you learn from mentorship, and you can put them, use them in your future. Like, I'm not expecting everyone who joins mentorship to be with me forever. My job as a coach is to teach you what you need to know and to heal with you along your journey. And then when you feel it's right to end your mentorship, you do. And maybe you pop in every once in a while for a session, or maybe you schedule like an emergency session if you're really like worried about something or having a hard time remembering what you learned, or you have a bigger intuitive question that you'd like me to channel specifically for you, so that, like, because your emotions are kind of everywhere and you need someone to like look into it without your emotions getting in the way. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's podcast episode. So sorry about the technical difficulties here at the end. Super bummed about the end of that, but that was basically the all of the questions that I had for Katherine, and love that she gave you guys her favorite tangible thing that she took away from having me as a mentor for those 3 months. And I'm so excited to begin working with her again in the upcoming months. And I hope that this helped you guys in some way. If you are on the fence about mentorship, um, and it's something that you're interested in, and you have that intuitive pull that this would be something that would be best for you, then jump in. Don't be scared. Sign up or apply so that we can sign up, see if I'm a right fit for you. If not, start with a session, see how you like it, see if you think that it would be a good fit for you. If you're interested in doing so, go ahead and check out the show notes below. I will link everything that you need to apply in those. Also, will link all of Katherine's information if you're interested in some fitness tips and mindset hacks and all that good stuff. So, thank you so, so much for joining us today in today's podcast episode. And I will see you next Tuesday for our episode then. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here on this podcasting journey of mine that I have learned so much um, through, giving you guys these episodes and sharing my tips and tricks and all the things. And definitely patience is being tested right here in this moment with recording these podcast episodes when we do have these technical difficulties. But hey, you know what? I always say progress is better than perfection. Just keep moving, keep going, just start, and do not let these things get you down when things don't go exactly the way that you had hoped. But again, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you like this. I hope it gave you some clarity. I hope that it made you make a decision if you were on the fence with working with me in some capacity, in some way, shape, or form. Thank you so much for supporting me in this journey, and I cannot wait for next Tuesday's episode. So we will chat soon. Bye.